Okay, so I wanted to talk basically about this situation pertaining to um, the abortion bans and our views on abortion and so forth. You know, I have always been very open and honest about how pro life I am. And I am very pro life. You know, I understand some people believe in exceptions for murder, and they think that, in the case of rape, incest, or fetal anomaly, that we need, these are a few of them, but we need basically to take the rights from other people and give those rights to others so then they can make a decision to kill, basically. Basically, if someone is raped, they have a right to decide if someone else lives or dies. Doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense why someone who has nothing to do with whether you were raped or not, it was not even in existence when you were raped, is somehow going to pay the price for you being raped. It is psychopathic, in my opinion, to think that you are going to make others pay for your rape and assault and trauma. You need to put that energy into the one who actually committed that act. Maybe push legislation for the death penalty in those cases. I wouldn't have an issue with that. Personally, it's not that big of a deal to me. For me, this is how I am. I believe that drug addicts, drug dealers, rapists, and robbers, bank robbers, and so forth, could stay in prison for the rest of their life. But I don't care if someone wants to make law for them to go to sleep for the rest of their lives. Like, I don't care. You can make the death penalty for them. I'm not going to fight for their right to live in prison for the rest of their life. I don't really care as long as they're not in society. My point is, you can't blame other people for a crime that they did not commit. You cannot blame other people. You cannot kill other people. You cannot end their lives because you've been traumatized. You know, that's just my belief. And I've always been very staunchly pro-life because I feel like it's the baby's body. It's a baby's choice. It's a baby's life. Only one who can make a decision on whether they should be aborted or not is the individual who is getting aborted, not other people. You cannot decide for other people that you're going to abort their life. You get what I'm saying? And that is born or unborn. You can't choose for someone else that you're going to abort their life. You're not going to terminate someone else's life. You're not going to kill someone else who was born. Are you? You don't think you should be able to take their life because it's their life, it's their body, and it's their choice. And the same applies to an unborn child because it is their life, it is their body, and it is their choice. It is the same thing. Their DNA and their body starts at conception. So you can't say that it doesn't. It's literally what starts their life, their body, their choice. So, for me, I was always pro-life in the case of rape, incest, and in the case of fetal anomalies. Because fetal anomalies, to me, it's like you're just basically saying that someone who is handicapped doesn't have the same equal rights to everybody else. And you're trying to basically implement eugenics because you're saying that, oh, if you're born deformed, if you have a short lifespan, oh, we deserve to be able to have the right to kill you. You don't get the right to choose when you live or die because you are deformed, or we don't like how you are, or we do not like how your intellect is, how your physical ability is, or your sex is. Because a lot of the time, a lot of people who are born both sexes are getting terminated for fetal anomalies. So, anyway, my whole point in this is that, it's a eugenics mindset, and I don't believe in that. I believe everyone has equal rights to their body, their choice, and they decide their life. They don't have others decide for them that they're going to be terminated at any age. And the only reason I think that someone has a right to have someone else choose for them whether their life is terminated or not is in the case of if a person has already decided for someone else that their life should be terminated. So therefore, if they have killed someone, then they have earned the right to have the same thing done to them. What you do to others is done to you. It is all in fairness, in my opinion. Now, in the case of abortion, obviously, this is not a situation that really occurs much because, like I said, in the case of rape or incest, we're not talking about life-threatening situations. We're not talking about this in any situation that is current. One, because saying, for example, in the case of life, that, the baby is going to kill the mother, is the baby is going to kill the mother, not the baby has already killed the mother. You get what I'm saying? You're saying hypothetically. That is actually not the same thing as actually someone has actually killed someone and actually determined that they live or die and they ended their life, and now we're deciding for themselves. So, in the case of life, I have always had this view that I've never thought that we can have that legal, okay? I've never thought abortion in the case of life was something you could actually legislate to being legal. The reason why is because if I have the view that it is the baby's life, the baby's choice, the baby's DNA, and the baby's body, how does that change anything? That the mother is going to die. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't change anything for me because at the end of the day, abortion, when it is done, is still being done on that unborn child. So the procedure is what? It is literally killing an unborn child, taking that choice from that unborn child. You get what I'm saying? Taking the life away, ripping their body parts apart. Like I said, it's their body, their choice, their life, their choice. All of that is taken away in the case of life when it comes to abortion. The problem is with that situation is this. I've always felt like for the women involved in these situations, there's never been a time where I've ever blamed them. No, ever. I've never thought that, for example, that they were in the wrong or they should be penalized or that anything of that nature. I do think that, a real mother, does lay her life down for her child. But my thing is hearing stories like these makes me very, very, very pro-life. Very pro-life, okay? Very pro-life in the case of life. And the reason why is because at the end of this whole situation, this story here is a type of ectopic pregnancy, apparently, that she went through. And in Tennessee, specifically, they had it originally where they did not have any exceptions, basically. No life exception, no exception in the case of rape or incest, of course not. No exceptions. They had no exceptions. And I was very proud of them. I have roots there. Very proud to have roots from them at that point. But the thing was, if a pregnancy is life-threatening, then they should obviously not be here today. If it was really, truly life-threatening, they wouldn't be here today. Yet, the woman is here, and the baby is there. Both made it out alive. So how life-threatening is it? Exactly. I think more so the correct term would be complicated. Complications? Yes, but definitely not life-threatening. Reason why I say that is because it's not life-threatening if they both lived. It's not a guarantee that they were going to die. What you mean is that as a doctor and you being lazy, you don't want to give the extra care to this woman and her children, her child, because you think it's just easier to just kill a baby, unborn baby, and say, oh, we fixed the situation. She's not going to die. When you just killed the unborn baby. So obviously somebody died from the situation. You didn't save anybody. When you could have actually gone about trying to save both people. That's why I am not for abortion in the case of life. Because I feel like in the case of life, most of the time it seems like it's a doctor trying to basically act like, oh, it's life-threatening. And then they tell the mother all these nonsensical things about how she's going to die and everything, and not actually try to use the expertise to actually try to keep her as healthy and safe as possible. Some people were saying that she was of a poor economic state and therefore she could not afford the care to preserve her fertility. And to me, that is fucked up, because why is it's possible that her fertility could have been saved, but because the doctors were incompetent, they had to have a hysterectomy on her. So that's my issue. It's this. The doctors, to me, are the issue in this situation, because to me, it's like, why are you thinking the option and the goal is to kill someone when you are a doctor. You're supposed to be helping people from being sick. When people come sick to your facilities, you're supposed to make them better. And if you can, and obviously it shows that you can, then you better fucking do it. That's what's upsetting to me, is that, I've seen other situations, one specifically in Latin America, where they specifically had a similar ectopic pregnancy, and the mother ended up giving birth at like 23 or 24 weeks, and the baby was born alive. So to me, it's just like, I don't really get why people try and act like life-threatening pregnancies means kill the baby immediately, when it's like, you could easily try to actually make this situation work out where both people come out alive. That's what you are here for as a doctor. For some reason, when we talk about unborn children, you're quick to say, oh, fuck no, let's just kill the kid. That's what you basically say. Because you're fucking lazy and you're a piece of shit. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about doctors who claim it's life-threatening. I'm just going to kill the kid and be done with it. Like, do your fucking job. So that's my reason for why I am pro-life in the case of life. Because it's like, you guys will say a pregnancy is life-threatening, and then both of the people end up alive. Second reason I am pro-life in the case of life, when it comes to abortion in the case of life, it's because I feel like, honestly, the people that are saying that abortion needs to be done in the case of life are odd to me. You really mean to tell me that the woman lives if you rip that baby's limbs apart? Is that what the mother is going to specifically make her survive? No. what you really mean to say is that she's having a hard time carrying the pregnancy. She's having a hard time carrying that unborn baby. That is a different thing than actually saying you must rip someone's limbs apart to save another person. You get what I'm saying? So, to me, I have nothing against early. I think that most mothers that are actually of good substance will not want to do that too much, but I do think that I don't have anything against particularly early births, basically, preterm births and so forth. When sometimes it's like a person is not able to specifically carry a pregnancy to term, you can end the pregnancy, but killing the child is the problem I have with that. Why are you killing a child so someone else can survive? Why are you ripping someone's limbs apart? Why are you stopping their heartbeat? Why are you starving them to death? You seem like a sick person at this point. What you're saying is needed is specifically that the person needs to have a situation where they are no longer carrying the pregnancy. That is a different thing than what you are actually doing before you remove the unborn baby from the womb. Before you are literally killing. And that is a major issue I have, because it's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. That act did not help that woman to survive. Even in the worst situation where it's an emergency and she's like bleeding out. If she were bleeding out at 22 weeks, 21 weeks, or however old in her pregnancy, however long in her pregnancy, to me, I kind of feel like, I kind of feel like it's just like, I don't see how you'd have to kill the child in those situations. Why would you have to kill the unborn child? At any stage, for that matter. You wouldn't have to kill the unborn child. If it was an emergency and she was literally like bleeding out and going to die if she continued the pregnancy, like, an imminent threat. That's what I'm saying. Even in that case, you don't have to rip people's limbs off. You don't have to start their heartbeat. Your goal in that situation would be to basically cause a preterm birth. Preterm birth is not abortion. Preterm birth is just a birth that is early. Whether an unborn child survives is a matter of, honestly, at 21 and 22 weeks, some unborn children do survive. And there's evidence that unborn children could probably survive earlier than that. People do not like to do a lot of research on that because obviously they like to create the narrative that unborn children are not able to survive until they are supposedly viable at 24 weeks. Yet we know that plenty of people have survived at 23 weeks and 22 weeks and 21 weeks. So, to me, either way, the point is the procedure of abortion is not removing, it's actually destroying. And that is the issue I have there with the abortion in the case of life, even in emergency situations. I do not believe in abortion in those cases either. I believe that, like, if it's an emergency and she is bleeding out and she's about to die, if she carries that pregnancy, obviously it would be best to remove the child because the child's going to die anyway, obviously, in that situation. And we can at least help the child to live a little longer. We know that unborn children, even at early stages, can survive outside of the womb a little bit longer than if their mother is dead and they're inside the mother, So the point is, that's why, to me, you're supposed to have the mentality of keeping both people alive as long as possible. Not have an idea that, we're just going to kill one of these people if we come across any complication, anything that is bothering us, anything that makes it too hard for us to give medical care to, that's what I don't like. Basically, it's because it's like you don't give a fuck about human life. You don't value other people's lives. You don't value unborn children's lives. And that's because in the medical community, it makes sense because a major part of the medical community is killing unborn children. So, of course, they don't value unborn children's lives. So that's why they're quick to say it's a life-threatening pregnancy, and we're not going to give the proper medical treatment to actually ensure that both people survive from this. No, because you don't value unborn children. So, yeah, that's why after hearing this story, I know a lot of people expect people, I guess, to have a mentality to be like, oh, this will make me feel more favorable to abortion or something because lady had to have a hysterectomy after giving birth to her child and surviving a supposed life-threatening pregnancy, of which her unborn child survived as well. So both people made it out alive. My thing is also with the hysterectomy, I do not personally have that much of an issue with that because to me it's like, well, if she went through a life-threatening pregnancy, why would anyone want her to go through another one? That to me didn't make any sense, too. And to me, I think with the mentality of some people not valuing human life, makes them think that, oh, well, if she went into another life-threatening pregnancy, she could just keep trying for pregnancies, go into life-threatening pregnancies, just terminate and kill unborn babies, and then start over. Just keep killing people until there's the right pregnancy for her. That's how they think, basically, because they do not value human life. Because you just think you could just keep on eliminating people's lives, knowing full well that you have a propensity to go through life-threatening pregnancies. So, I mean, like on that case, actually, I don't see anything wrong with the hysterectomy. I think that's a good thing to avoid any possible future, life-threatening pregnancies. There is surrogacy. I'm not saying that I wish infertility on her. There is surrogacy, So, I mean, many women like her will still have options to have their own children in safe environments and not in situations where it's a deadly situation where she could die, her child could die, and so forth, So that's all I have to say in this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and have a great day. Bye, guys.